Have you ever been so stuck in the mud? You see no way out. You don't see any way to move. The stagnation starts to get to you. It makes you feel trapped. There's no way left or right. You can't see the wood for the trees. Life begins to look like a bad chess game. You're surrounded by onlookers. The breathing of them gets louder and louder as they get closer to you. But then suddenly you realize there is a way out. Like all champion chess players, with a bit of strategic thinking and forward planning, there's always a way out. Let me explain further what I mean. There's an analogy that I like to use that chess has an infinite number of possibilities. And this is true because there are actually more possible chess outcomes and variations than there are atoms in the observable universe. This shows us that there are opportunities in life to make moves that lead to success or moves that lead to failure. Even if you fall, you will learn from this and approach the game differently. The key is to think strategically, to anticipate the possible outcomes of your decisions. Another analogy that I like to use is that chess is like a battle. You have to plan your moves in advance, your strategies, your tactics. You have to prepare for your opponent's next move. You have to be flexible and able to change when the circumstances arise. Things don't always go your way, and you have to learn to fight against that. In chess, you have to be strategic, and you have to think about the consequences of our actions, whether that be in the chessboard or in real life. Chess gives you a bit of a reality check, whether they be laws, social norms, or ethical principles. It shows us that, like in chess, there are things that we can do and things that we can't. And it's up to us to use those things to our advantage and play by the rules. With doing this, sometimes we have to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term gain. An example of this would be the Queen's Gambit. No, I'm not talking about the TV show that everybody knows. I'm talking about the opening. If you know chess, you know what I'm talking about. The Queen's Gambit is an opening in which you intentionally sacrifice a piece at the start of the game to gain an advantage later on. This shows us that if we put in the time and effort now, especially where we are as teenagers in our lives, where others are out partying and having fun, if we focus on what we want to achieve, I guarantee you will achieve it if you put in the time and effort. But let's say, right, you're playing a chess game, and the Queen's Gambit isn't working because your opponent knows how to play against it. This relates to us in life. Say, for example, you're overweight, and you're eating Dunkin' Donuts every day. Maybe, if you set aside the donuts, it might give you more of a positive impact rather than a negative one. Sure, you miss out on some sugary treats every now and then, but eventually, it'll be better for you in the long run. Chess also teaches us about the importance of patience and persistence. Sometimes the game can last for hours, but no matter how hard the game gets, we always have to keep going, because, as I said earlier, there is always a way out. Another analogy that I like to use is that chess pieces and how they relate to people and their positions in life. This comes to play when sometimes we can't always do what we want, and we have to use what we're given. We have to make use of the cards we're dealt, no matter the circumstance, because some things you really just can't change, and there are no possible ways to change that. So you'll have to use what you have to the best of your ability. In chess, there is a hierarchy, if some of you know. Some pieces are more valuable than others, and some pieces have different abilities than others. This comes to show that in real life, these relate to us as people as well. The king is the most valuable piece on the board, like how leaders in an organization are the most influential and powerful people. The queen is the most powerful piece, just like how role models or mentors are the most powerful people in our lives. And the pawn is kind of like a new employee at a job. They're not very good at what they're doing, but with many of them, they can make a very large impact. And just like the queen, if the pawn is given the time to better themselves and learn over time, they too can be like the queen if they reach the other side of the chessboard. But in the end, the positions on the chessboard can teach us about our own life positions. In chess, you have to constantly be on the lookout for a better way to strive and conquer the board. Just like in our own lives. When a situation arises, we can't let it put us down. I'm going to go a bit off script here, and I just noticed this when I'm talking right now, but an example of this in real life is like over a year and a half ago, I first came to South Africa, and I was very unhealthy. I weighed about 110 kilograms, and now, a year and a half later, 40 kilograms slimmer, I realized that there are things that I could not have achieved without the influence of things in my own life. There are many things that have influenced this, but I feel like the one thing that really caught my attention is chess and how it uses things that relate to us in life. And this is everything that I've been telling you today. Chess can teach you many life lessons, but it's up to us if we want to take advantage of it. Take that time to analyze our position and see how we can make the most out of it. In the end, it's up to us if we want to do this.